when it slows down. I don't know why it does it.
I don't know why it does that.
I like it. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, we're running late. Blame the snowbilly. I couldn't get my shit together today.
He was on CP time.
Fucking time last night. That dude's a fucking trip. I love him. Honestly, that was fun. I don't think I've met anyone that I sat there and laughed like that for an hour straight. I was trying not to fuck up when it's this show, dude. But I'm in the back room just cracking up like, oh shit.
I heard you walking. I'm on this do not disturb.
Because iPhones hate you. So how we doing, everyone? We did have a little bit of a technical snafu, so we're doing phone in the studio. We can't read the comments. You got comments. Hey, yeah, we have phones. And Mickey's gonna remind us when we pass things up.
Mickey, you there?
Oh yeah, you know I'm there, man. I'm just back.
We have phones.
I'm just back here trying to record and everything for y'all.
Okay.
I mean, share. I'm trying to share. But go ahead.
World Series this year.
Really? Is it authorized? It's time for that already?
Yeah.
Oh.
Shit, dude. All right. So is something different today. Yes, we are on a phone camera. Melissa, I'm going to refer you to Right versus Wrong. Right versus Wrong. Please get a hold of me after the show. We got some stuff to talk about with Melissa here because she's had an issue. She's talked about it a few times, and it's not getting picked up by people that I'd hope had picked it up. I'm going to get a hold of a few friends and start just taking the lead on this myself. So I was hoping someone else to take the lead. Honestly, I'm a lazy piece of shit, as everyone around Flint keeps on saying right now. It's fine.
You're not lazy.
Hey, let them think that. Let them think that, boss man. Because then when they finally find out I'm not lazy, it's too late.
Okay.
But
hey, Sister Audrey, is that Sister Audrey?
That's
Mama Quill.
That's Mama Quill.
Okay, sorry about that. I'm sorry. Hey, Mama Quill, how you doing?
And then to start off our show today.
That is Sister Audrey.
Where?
In the comments.
I see a Mary Davis.
Yeah, she's in the comments. I thought I saw her in the comments.
Or she might be on the YouTube side. Anyway, before we start off everything today, guys, go ahead and if you like what Right versus Wrong has been doing, they've been supporting us on the back end, giving us information from their FOIAs. They do a lot of the footwork for us, so I can afford to be lazy, like I just said. They just got slapped with a $1,000+ FOIA, and that's just for the base emails and text messages. There was a little discussion, I believe, Right versus Wrong, please correct me, of possibly getting more off of there. There was the question of, oh, is this all you really wanted?
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes there's that, playful hint between people that might be disgruntled against a worker, someone at work, or it could be more malicious and trying to get more money out of Right versus Wrong. But Right versus Wrong is asking for help, folks. It'd be greatly appreciated, $5, $10, whatever you can do, just like you did for us. And you see, things that we've done here with that money. What you'll see from this GoFundMe from Right versus Wrong is more information coming out from us, myself and Clack, Wintis. You'll probably see some stuff coming out from Art. Whoever Right versus Wrong trusts with that information to get it out to the public in as wide of a reach as possible so we aren't left in the dark. So please, guys, is it common for a FOIA? Chris, it depends on the size. So when I FOIA'd the city budget, and this was complete and total, as well as department pay and revenue, it cost me $100 and something odd. That's something they already had on hand in their own records. When it comes to getting information off phones, that's more time. They have to run the phone. Well, they don't have to. They can just download it off the internet, but they won't because overtime is a bitch and times are hard. They'll run it to, say it's a Verizon phone, and they'll rip the information off from there to print it out for you to give on a FOIA, and then they have to put on official form, yada, yada, yada. So it's going to come out to be an arm and a leg, and I do think right versus wrong is getting ripped off here, but if they're trying to do that, as Mickey has said so often, what is it, a hurt dog don't, or a hurt dog gonna holler? So if they're trying to block monetarily here, there might be something there for us to get a hold of. So, look, I put my trust in right versus wrong before. I haven't been steered wrong, and that's why I feel comfortable enough to say it here. How about you?
They're good people doing good work.
Right? I mean, Melissa, I understand your situation, and we understand that not everyone has several $100 lying around. Lord knows the economy is shit, and this is Flint. But if you happen to have it, anyone out there, please. Yeah, thank you, Jewel. A hit dog will holla.
There it is. I don't want to be misquoting any sayings out here and be accused of you saying something or calling me as a name or something. So thank you, Jewel.
Right versus wrong. If you would do a direct response to Chris Callip here. Chris is an excellent guy. As it says here, the problem is that the city downloaded the entire phone history, so now she has to go through them and redact a whole bunch of information. No, right versus wrong has their own GoFundMe up. Do not send it to us. You can always send us money to Cash App, though. That's always appreciated. Keeps the lights on. But we were reached out to by someone we trust, and we're going to reciprocate that. But let's get into the show.
Okay.
What's the misunderstandings, Mr. Clack?
Well, I think I'm going to start off by saying there's been some confusion. Well, maybe not some confusion, some misunderstanding, maybe not even misunderstanding, maybe some purposeful
misdirection,
maybe. So some things have come up that I have not addressed over the past couple of months, and I've kind of steered clear of confrontation. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't really. Well, you all know me. You've been on the show with me for a while now. I don't call people by name.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like if I have an issue with something that the mayor's doing, I'll say the mayor. Or if I have an issue with something that one of the council members is doing, I'll say council member in the X ward or whatnot. Or
you treat it like a school board meeting, honestly.
Well, I try to be not personal. I try to be more professional. I hold that person to they're a public official. You know what I mean? So I try to hold them accountable publicly and not personally, so to speak. Does that make sense?
But this most recent sounds like they didn't keep it professional themselves.
Well, that's cool because that's just the way that I operate.
Mm-hmm.
When you step out into the public sector, you got to expect to be ridiculed and looked at through a magnifying glass and fine tooth comb and all whatever you want to So I'm cool with that. That's why I'm transparent with. I try to be transparent with everything that I do. So it's come up that one question that I won't say the person's name, but it came up that I've got a DUI and I've got a gun charge in my previous life, which is true. It's not necessarily DUI. I was convicted of impaired driving. Okay. And I was.
That's the same thing you get when you're just tired and driving.
Well, that's the thing. I was pulled over. Well, I wasn't even pulled over. What happened was we got a cabin up north, and I came from up north, and I went to a wedding, and after the wedding is the after party.
Yeah.
No, but it was
the reception.
The reception, and I went to the reception, and I will not say names, but a close friend of mine played a trick on me, and instead they gave me a water bottle full of what do you call it?
Vodka.
No, hooch. Like
just God, I know what we called it in the barracks, but
y'all know
considering the everything that happens with certain words around here. I'm not even gonna say it.
Moonshine.
Oh, it's shine?
Yeah.
That's completely different.
Right. So I said hooch. So moonshine, hooch. Y'all know what
You
I'm
see,
talking
to me, hooch is you cut up a bunch of fruit, you
Yeah.
throw it into a giant bin, you throw in some grain alcohol, you throw in some like Kool-Aid packets, you mix it up. It tastes like Kool-Aid.
No, well, this was like the kind that you go in the backwoods back in Arkansas.
Oh
And
yeah,
there's a thing that
paint stripper, yeah, with the stilt. Yeah.
So that was this guy's uncle. Well, anyway, I was tired and I took a shot thinking it was water, and on my way home I fell asleep and somebody did a welfare check because they thought something bad had happened to me.
Yeah,
Of
there's
course,
a
the
dude
police-
asleep at the wheel.
Right. Well, they didn't really know I was asleep because when they pulled up with full force. So, it scared me to death. But at the end of the day, it happened. I had alcohol in my system. I was taken to jail and I went to court and was convicted of impaired driving, not drunk driving, not DUI.
Impaired.
Because I didn't have a whole lot of alcohol in my system.
Mm-hmm.
All right, that's that. I felt like I didn't need to explain that, but I am explaining that again. So there was another. This all came out in live too. So there's
So
another.
you're just covering ancient history at this
Yeah,
point.
I'm pretty much spot on clean ever since then. But this was, I received a gun charge back in 2013 with my own gun. It was not stolen. I was actually on my motorcycle. This was somebody exclusively mentioned my motorcycle. I was on a motorcycle. I was carrying openly, but I had a jacket on. The jacket, I got pulled over. The jacket ended up being over the gun, and I got charged with carrying a concealed weapon. When I went to court.
I understand you completely there. Like when you see my knife on my hip, I always make sure my jacket, my hoodie, my pullover.
Sure. Yeah.
Because for some reason, knives aren't covered by a CPL. I mean, I get a concealed pistol license, concealed knife, same shit.
Mm-hmm.
And it's cold.
Right.
And especially when you're riding, that windshield kicks your ass.
Right. Oh yeah. So, needless to say, this is a variable because I was in Swartz Creek. So, if anybody knows the demographic of Swartz Creek, you all know that there aren't very many of us out there.
What he's saying is Swartz Creek is pretty porcelain.
Yeah, it's a majority white community on the outskirts of Flint. I'll just say that. So I got pulled over, and they were more concerned with finding drugs on me, so they almost ripped my motorcycle apart. They took about 1,000 pictures. I had about $400 in cash on me, and all in 20s, because that's what the ATM machine.
That's what the ATM gives you.
Yeah, so I forgot what I was going to do because this was like 10 years ago.
You got lucky they didn't call a drug dog.
Let them call them.
No.
They'd have just been wasting time and practicing.
No. You got any cash on you right now?
No, I don't do cash because of that.
So it's been common practice for them to call a drug dog for, quote, large amounts of money.
$400?
Large amounts of money. Anything that they consider to be large.
Well, and then the denominations were all in 20 because he just knew that I was out there selling drugs.
But most American money, actually, vast majority of it, you're going to find two things on it. Human feces and cocaine, usually.
Yeah, I do know that.
So you're lucky they didn't call a drug dog.
Well,
even if you didn't touch shit, you can't guarantee that the previous 50 owners haven't.
Right. Well, needless to say, the guy whips out this professional camera, and all the money is fanned out on the hood of his car. All the bullets are taken out of my gun, and on the hood of his car. He took like 100 pictures of. I mean, like he just made it seem like I was El Chapo or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then they took me off to jail, and I was charged with carrying a concealed weapon. When I was convicted of reckless carry of a firearm because it was my first offense. So outside of driving, speeding or simple driving.
So
offenses.
your first real offense.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that was 10 years ago. So that should answer the question as to somebody who said, why was he charged with this and convicted of this? It's because I didn't have a record. I was given for that, I was given a $299 fine and 30 days unsupervised probation, and everything was back to normal like I never did anything. So that should answer those questions.
Now, why are these questions coming up now? Like, all right, why are they coming up and where are you seeing them?
I'm supposing they're coming up because my good buddy Trevor here went down to city council with his
Hellion.
I
I love the name of that gun.
I do too. But I think what happened was after that, the show, when I came on and I stood with you and I came here and I had my gun in the chair and I said, Trevor's my buddy and I stand with him. I think once that happened, there was a lot of people that said that, well, you should be holding yourself to a different standard. You're the president of the school board. You shouldn't, do this and blah, 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 blah. Which in a certain way, I understand how somebody on the outside looking in could say, oh, he's got a gun on his podcast and he got this and da 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 da. And
I don't fucking understand it all.
No, of course we know, but that's because we are the ones that are on the inside looking out. You know what I mean? Like,
no, even from the outside looking in. Are you an American citizen?
I am.
Are you mentally unstable?
I don't know. No, I'm just playing.
Have you been abdicated of your rights by a court?
No, sir.
Okay. Are you a felon?
No, sir.
Have you ever been convicted of domestic abuse?
No, sir.
Then they can go fist themselves.
Exactly.
There you go.
So, but again, I felt like since it came out, it was only right for me to explain what happened before people, because people don't really like positivity. People really want to hear the negative, and that's what really gets the views. So,
well, here's the thing. The people jumping that out there and just dumping all this, they're pretty stupid. They did you a favor.
Well, kind of, sort of.
Election season's coming up. Your school board tenure, your seat is coming up.
Mm-hmm. I still got another full year, but yeah.
Well, I mean, you're going to be running for it.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean.
For my seat again?
Who knows? You could.
I don't know.
I don't know either. However, they could have dropped this in the middle of the election cycle and really fucked you up. Instead, they decided to be reactionary and just dump it pre-election cycle like a moron.
Well, I will tell you this. When it first came out that I had these charges, back when I ran for state representative the first time, what happened was once people started looking at the article on N Live, I got more support, oddly enough, oddly to say that. I guess it was, I don't know if people just thought
because
I was
you're regular Joe. People like voting for regular Joe. Like, okay, your family has a name.
Mm-hmm.
And it didn't get swept under the rug.
Right.
Mom and dad didn't come in and,
No, that's one
super
thing.
child, your dumbass.
No, that's one thing that I want to say is because they were it seemed like the person was trying to insinuate that my mom had something to do with it, which is furthest from the truth. I always grew up, my mom always told me, if you go to jail, don't call me. And I ain't gonna lie, I've been to jail a few times, and I've never called my mom. If you my girlfriend, you go get a call. If you're a good friend, you go get a call. But I've never called my parents, and I've just been like that. That's just the way it's been. But not like I just be in jail, but I've had a couple overnighters for driving, speeding or racing or whatever.
So having fun,
doing a wheelie up the highway or whatever. But the reason why I felt like it was necessary is because I'm not running from anything that I've done. I've been working in education for years, and I always preach to my students the same thing that my parents preach to me, is that you can be better than me. I want you to notice that I've not been perfect. I'm not perfect. I'm a real person. I'm a regular person, and I'm still able to come out and tell you about my past, and tell you to be better than me. You don't have to make these same mistakes. You don't have to go down this long road of trials and tribulation when there's somebody that's right here in your face telling you that I've done all this, I did all that, it ain't what it's all cracked up to be. Listen to me, don't do that, and this is where we are.
You sound like me when it comes to the Army. Like, all right, kids, I know it sounds romantic and all, but given the bullshit that I've been through, look, your friends are going to tell you everything's romantic, whether it be the lifestyle you're talking about or me in the Army. But in reality, I think we can both agree, it's like trying to eat soup with a fork. You got some idiot making your life harder, and then you go along with it and make your life even harder than it needs to be.
Yeah.
I'm glad you're steering kids away from the shit you've done, and I hope you start steering them away from the military, because...
No, I'm not going to do that.
I will.
I'm not going to do that.
Ask my daughter's school when the Army, Navy, and Marine Corps recruiters didn't show up, who sat in that seat and who was directing kids to every other seat around but in front of me.
While you're thinking about talking about that, Mickey, could you put up that picture of Trevor here that I got? Please.
Hold on 1 second. I got you. I'm finna go to it. Let me get up out of here.
King, one of my favorite people, and one of the faces I see popping up more often now. And please tell me if I'm right. It's Free Daddy. Yeah, been popping up, and I've been seeing more and more and more. Oh yeah.
Okay, so this is I believe it was Veterans Day, if y'all can see it. But that is my good buddy Trevor here, who I had come to speak to my classroom about what it is to be in the armed forces. Now, if you notice on Trevor's chest, there's a visitor's pass.
Mm-hmm.
In order to get that visitor's pass, you must come to the front office, sign in, and pass a brief background check. Okay, so Trevor here passed. He's in front of my class and he's teaching. Now, the point that I wanted to make was not that Trevor's in front of my class, is that if you look on the board, what is being spoken about? All right, this is a class full of 6th graders. Look at what we're talking about. Do you remember what we were talking about that day?
That day we were talking about the complexities of NATO, Ukraine, or Russia invading Ukraine, and if I'm to quote myself right, why Russia's getting its face slapped into timeout corner, because at first I was very afraid to cuss in front of your class. After that, we were talking about my job in the Army, what I've done in the Army, what I've done overseas, and then the weapon systems thereof and the differences thereof, which was, honestly, I couldn't have explained it to brand new privates in the Army and them grasp it better. I was very impressed by your class.
I appreciate it.
They were sitting there going, wait, so this is this, yes, but the diameter is this, yes. Well, shit, the kid said diameter.
You were talking to them, I remember you were talking to them about mortars and how mortars work, because they were talking about tanks. Remember the tankers? And they were like, it was just, these are 6th graders though. So, for the people that say that Clack is just not really teaching and Clack just does what he does just to be doing it or just to be saying it for likes and views, if you could put up the next picture, Mick, of my daughter.
Now I gotta point it right versus wrong. Look, for the longest while I wore a red polo because ran Republican, and I wasn't too comfortable showing off my smart-ass t-shirts, such as the Brandon Herrera shirt right here. Oh, let's see your daughter.
Okay. So this is another time when my daughter we were up, I think it might have been a college day, or I don't know, my daughter was home from school. And she's in front of my class. So if you can look, the point is, and that's the back of my son's hair right there. So if you can kind of zoom in, I don't know if you guys can see it, but if you can zoom in on what is on the board, what we're speaking about, we're talking about the rights of citizenship. So there's the 13th, 14th, and 15th Amendment. Again, these are 6th graders. These are 6th graders here. So if we're learning about the 13th, 14th, and 15th Amendment, trust and believe my 6th graders know the 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 25th, and all the rest of the amendments as well. So when it came time for my good buddy Trevor to express himself, to go when he went down to city council with his rifle, I completely understood why he went down. Now, again, he said he was going to do that on our last solution show.
Last week.
He said he was going to do that. I believe saying I would not be there. I believe I can quote myself by saying I would not be there. But at the end of the day, I still stand with Trevor. Now, sorry, I just took over the show real quick, Trevor.
Nah,
There's some stuff I gotta say.
Nah, I like hearing you get up and out of your shell a bit.
So the Second Amendment is something that I hold near and dear to me. I wasn't always this way, but some things happened in my life that made me switch up that people don't know about. I'm not even sure if Trevor here knows about it.
Probably not.
The reason why I decided to go and start buying guns is because when I ran for state representative the first time, my home was shot up twice. Okay. So not only did that happen, there was someone that followed me. I don't know, they followed me halfway around the city until I just couldn't take it anymore. and I hopped out of my car, and things happen. But it comes to a point to where you can only take so much. And most of y'all that are watching know me, and I'm not a confrontational person. It takes a lot to get me upset. I get upset when you mess with my friends before, more than I get upset that you kind of mess with me. I can kind of take it. I kind of take it as a badge of honor that people are trying to dig into my background and kind of get me off my square. And kind of, it's like if I wasn't doing something right, they wouldn't waste their time with trying to dig up dirt on me. You know what I mean? So when you see me, I don't brandish a firearm. That's not what I do.
You and I have been carrying together for about 6 months now. Every time we've met, we've each carried one. I see you get out of your vehicle. I see you secure your firearm. We walk into wherever we're going, and it never comes out of the holster unless someone you trust is asked to see it, and you let them go through it. Namely me, guys. Me. I fuck with this gun, okay? Yeah, it's never been pointed at anyone as far as I know, at least not guaranteed, not in my presence. It's never been, oh, look at me flashing, I've got something. Here's the deal. I see so much discussion over, especially now after I made my little stand, that certain areas should be gun free, or we should have more restrictions, or this or that. But it's a right. I want you to look at every right you have, period, end of story, from 1 to 25, every amendment to the Constitution. What's most important to you? It should be a trick question, because once you start ranking those, you tell people what they can remove from you. So if you say, take 3 of them, we'll say warrantless search and seizure, right to bear arms, and the quartering act, or quartering soldiers in your home.
I'll give my first 2, my top 2, the 14th and the 15th. The 13th was very important, but the 14th is what made African Americans citizens, and the 15th gave us the right to vote. So if you take away my citizenship, that just makes me,
See, to me, they should all be equal.
They should.
Now, because those give you your citizenship and your right to vote. With your citizenship comes with your right to speak your mind and protest peacefully. You should never take that for granted. You should never say, look, man, you're a black guy, and here in the States, things haven't always been great for people of your skin color, right? We've said that a few times. I'm a Republican. I'm willing to admit it. I'm not blind to the past. Has a cop ever stopped you and just decided, talk and frisk or search and frisk?
Yeah.
That went against your 4th Amendment. How'd you feel?
Well, for one, regardless of me being, having my license and insurance and registration of the car, I still was yes sir, no sir, because at the end of the day, there have been times when I've had, everything straight, and I still leave away with a ticket. I got a ticket in Swartz Creek for having a headlight out at 9 o'clock in the morning. I got pulled over for having a bald tire. You know what I mean? Like I've been pulled over walking. You know what I mean? In a blizzard. So there aren't very many, and that's just me. I don't have anything on my record that would suggest that I sell drugs or I'm around drugs or anything like that. But it's just the fact that every day I get up, I got this complexion that I can't get rid of. That's not a complaint because I'm proud of who I am. But the fact remains is it's out here. You don't have to be doing anything.
The way you said that, I'd like to disagree. It isn't a complexion you can't get rid of. It's a complexion that some people can't let go of.
Well, there you go. I didn't mean I can't get rid of it.
I know. Because, but someone's going to try twisting your words and saying Clack is anti-black, which is bullshit.
Come on now. But at the end of the day, if you could put up, Nikki, there are 3 videos that I sent you. I don't really care which one you put up because I'm a narrator.
Gotcha.
Hey, give us video 3. I don't even know what it is.
I'm finna put it up for him right now.
We don't have the big TVs up today. We're on a small on my iPhone.
Oh, hold up. Let me put I got
Fancy using an iPhone.
Man, that's just because Verizon was offering.
Oh, I was just gonna say that school board salary, that $20.
No, I get $35 a meeting. That's not per hour. That's per meeting. Every time we meet. So that's not. We're not getting paid buku money. We're not here for the salary.
I was talking shit about iPhone, man.
Oh, all right. Well, yeah, because my school board pay ain't paying my phone bill. I'll tell you that.
You ready for this one right here, Clack?
Yep.
Oh crap! Let me add it to the stage. Hold on, I got you. Let me go ahead and put the play down for you. Let me mute my phone. I mean,
All
mute
right,
my.
So, unfortunately, not like my buddy Trevor here. I was not in the military. I did not grow up around guns. I did not. My dad didn't introduce me to guns. I became curious on my own. So, with that being said, I decided to go and get some type of training. This is me at one of my training classes, in a tactical training course. So, I do have around 20 hours of training, tactical training. Now, pause it right there, please. If you can go back to where the guy just walked. If you can see,
Nice drop holster.
that this is a guy who works for the sheriff's department. This is law enforcement. I'm being trained by people that protect and serve. So I'm not just a person that's irresponsible out here carrying a weapon. I do train. I do train with law enforcement. I do know how to use my weapons. Go ahead, Mickey. You can play the next one. Because hold on, wait a minute. I want y'all here to hear them dings. Let me go ahead and play. I want you to hear them dings. All right, never mind. Don't worry about it. You can play the next one. Oh, Chris.
Bad. I had it muted, man. My bad. I got you. Let me put the next one up.
But let me address Chris real quick because I saw a comment when Don was on last night about I hate to say his name because he doesn't have anything to do with it, but DeJuan Robinson in Lansing at the Capitol building with his guns. Those are my guns. We rode down together and we were there. I got a picture of us at that march. That was a week after the Michigan militia had gone down to the Capitol.
Yeah.
Y'all remember that? And had raided the Capitol.
That wasn't a raid. They were.
I didn't mean raided, but they went into the Capitol.
Careful. Some people are going to try equating that to June 6th.
Yeah, no. Let me I don't have any issues with the Michigan militia, but I was just invited to a black and brown protest at the Capitol building, a gun protest at the Capitol building, which I participated in. If you can put that up.
Leaning the wrong way. Lean inward.
If you can put that up. There is a picture of, oops, no, that you can play. That's a video of me learning how to shoot around objects.
All right, and then I'm gonna go get that one for you. You said what picture you want up now?
The one with us is a bunch of us at the Capitol building with posing with our rifles.
I got you.
Hold on, you keep playing this one because the same.
Find it for you, Clack. You said the one down at the Wilson. I got you. You talking about this one right here? You talking about this picture right here? Clack, this picture. You mean? Tip.
What's wrong?
You muted. He muted his phone.
All right. We're unfucked. Stop touching things. It's gonna explode now. It's an iPhone.
My bad. Sorry, I muted. But I don't know what the last thing I heard was. If y'all heard from me, was that's the picture. There's my good buddy Gary Lee with the red shoes on standing next to me. Then there's me with my rifle and one of my sidearms. And then you can scroll over past one person from Lansing. There's Mr. Dewan Robinson with us. So Mr. Caleb, that's the picture, or one of the pictures of us at the Capitol building. So hopefully, can y'all hear me now?
Yeah, they can hear you.
Okay.
Nice grip.
Okay, so yeah,
It's gotta be about 5.5 pounds. You dropped about 8 ounces off of it by skeletonizing your pistol grip and your front.
I'm getting
grip.
rid of those too. They're not comfortable to hold.
And they're ugly as sin, but yeah,
they just
it drops a little bit of weight.
Yeah, so let me see, what else can I drop? Can you think of anything I missed? Oh, my bad. There are some people that are concerned with some things that I post on my Facebook page. I must address one post that I made, and I'm only going to say it once because I felt the same. I felt this way when it first happened, and I still feel this way. It was about Michigan State coach Mel Tucker, and I made a post when there was an accusation of him having a sexual phone relationship with someone that he had speaking to his team or whatnot. And so I made a comment, I made a post on Facebook, and two people came, and one called me and one DM'd me about what I posted. And I posted, if you got a problem with what I post, whatever. So I felt like I must address this. It was about that post that I made, and that I didn't think that this was a credible accusation, which it was not. It's all come out that it's not. It's all come out that, there's hundreds of text messages saying that this lady was after money and she only had $5 in her bank account and blah, 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 blah. So that was directly addressing that comment, that post that I made onto my Facebook page. So I feel like that should be, I think I've addressed. I'm probably forgetting something, but
I've got an issue with something you told me last night.
Okay.
I think it was last night. Might have been yesterday. I don't know, guys. I ain't slept. That a city official, well, we'll see if you'll let me name him here in a few, approached one of your colleagues and was saying that you, as an elected official, cannot, or at least should not, have a gun in a podcast with you, or prior, when you and I had a beer on air.
Mm-hmm.
I gotta say, it's pretty cowardly to sneak around behind a man's back and talk to his colleagues like that.
We did the same thing to my dad. My dad was downtown.
You mind if I throw his name out there?
Not the colleague.
Not the colleague, of course.
Of course.
Fucking short stack, the caddy, fucking Lion Neely, Nickelbag, whatever you guys want to call him, approached Mr. Clack's colleague, and if it's been one, it's been more, trying to discredit him because he had a picture with his rifle or a podcast with his rifle, had a drink on air. Here's the thing. Clack is still a citizen. He's still entitled to every right. He's never had them stripped from him. He's never fucked up in a way that would strip his rights from him. And so to try to throw that kind of shade out there, it shows that the man's scared of something. I mean, it might be that he's trying to get at me to get at me by getting to you. Big doubt, because you can stand by yourself. You don't need me around. Or it might be that he's threatened by you in your future. I'll be honest with you guys right now. I don't expect Kildee to continue running as our congressional representative. And I expect Short Stack to step up and try to take that seat. He's been a man that for the past 15, 20 years has gotten fat off of government work. He's been city councilman. He's been
It has been that long, hasn't it?
He's been a state rep. He's been a mayor. He's doing so as our mayor now. And he's going to want to handpick his own successor. Now, with the community following you have, he's trying to discredit you because you could easily take that seat if you damn well wanted.
What, mayor?
Mayor.
Oh yeah, no, I don't. Here's the thing that
I'm just saying he's threatened by it. So now he's trying to slap you down and keep you into a small little box that he can keep you contained in.
I'm gonna tell you. I think that has a lot to do with it. I think I don't necessarily. Well, I think that's a lot to do with it. Now, I feel like I got to tell y'all the backstory or part of the backstory. The only thing, I haven't done anything personally to Mayor Neely. Like I haven't.
Now, you snubbed him once when he called you for a question. You asked him about an emergency alert system. That isn't somehow an emergency alert system. He took that personally. Emotional damage.
I got asked to leave that meeting too. Me and Mickey. Remember that, mate?
For sure.
We got asked to leave. But that I forgot all about that. I did ask a question that pissed him off. It was visible that he was pissed off when I asked that question. But it was a question that the crowd, that the audience that was, at my college at the 7th Ward, what informational that he had earlier this year.
Yeah, for replacing Allie and how he thinks it's supposed to go. I mean, shit, wasn't there supposed to be an emergency election within 90 days?
Should have been
By now.
Yeah, it should have been. But that's one of the things. I forgot all about that.
Yeah, he takes that personally.
But that's not the biggest. The biggest was, see, I inherited a lot of this. It wasn't just because Michael Clack did this. My best assumption is that Mayor Neely feels some type of way towards me because my parents didn't support him when he ran for his offices. My parents normally supported the opposition. So
you want to know, and I don't know your parents, but if I were in their shoes, why I wouldn't support them?
Well, they're pretty good judges of character. So
well, that's one good part. The other part is, if you have someone who's running around begging for support, they don't have a fucking leg to stand on. Why am I going to let them drag me down?
Mm-hmm. Which I'm glad that you said that. It's almost like you know what's up here. Like I was leading that up to another point, but the point that I was leading up to, thank you for the segue, Trevor, was when I first became president, Mayor Neely reached out to have a meeting with me and some the board. And I declined the meeting.
Does the city have any fucking business with your school system?
Well, at that time, I didn't know. I was new to I was probably president, maybe a week, maybe a month, if that. And the first time that they reached out to me, I was sitting on my couch. And I'm not going to say the lady's name, but his assistant who reached out, and I said, well, I'm out of town right now. I won't be back until the middle of March. I think this is like January 18th or something like this. So I won't be back in town until the middle of March. And so the second time was probably about 2 weeks later. And they reached back out and they wanted to know when I could meet with Mayor Neely. And I said, well, you know what? I don't know if I said I was still out of town, but I said I didn't say I was in front of my class teaching at the time. Mm-hmm. I didn't say that though. But I just said, I stepped outside and I said, well, what's the nature of the meeting? Because he's met with the vice president, he's met with the treasurer, he's met with a handful of other board members, and I'm the last one that he hasn't met with. And no one has come back to me and, with the message that sounded like it was imperative that I go out and have this meeting. They didn't come back and say, hey, Mayor Neely wants to do this. Well, let's go and, we need to sit down and do this. Nobody came back and said that. If that would have been said, I probably still wouldn't have went and met with them, because I'm going to tell y'all the reason in a second. But because I trust the vice president, which was Vice President King, that he would go and tell me if there was something. Then the treasurer, Dylan Luna, went, and then some other board members went, and nobody came and said he wants to do this. So there was no need. But I had my own preconceived.
Do you think
reason.
that basically the meetings that you had with those other folks were kind of like the Art Woodson Candy Room story?
I don't think that they were like that. I think that he was
It's
just
kind of like a show of, hi, I'm the mayor, learn who's in charge here type deal.
Again, I wasn't there. I don't necessarily think that's the way it went. I think it was more like, kind of trying to get a feel about what the new board member's mindset
Oh,
is.
so who he can bribe and make money off of. Gotcha. Look, dude, I'm being an asshole today. I
Okay.
don't like the man. I'm already pissed because he snuck around behind your back, and you hold your temper a lot better than I do.
Well, I do, but I don't. So,
You don't show it.
So here's what I've said. I asked, what's the nature of the meeting, and they said, well, what's the reason for the meeting, and there was no reason. And I said, well, I don't just make it a common practice of mine to just be going into meetings with people with no designated reason.
Goal.
There's no reason. We just meeting. It's not like we ain't friends. You know what I mean? Like, what do we need to talk about if it's nothing professional? If the nature of the conversation is not going to be told to me before I come, there's no need for me to come. That's just what I thought. And so what I told her was like, I just don't trust the situation. And frankly, I don't trust him. And I'm going to decline this meeting. So that, I'm going to say that really didn't go over very well with him once the message got back to him. So with that, and then I did have the audacity to run against his wife. You know what I mean? And I have no ill will towards
Look, I've heard positive things about Cynthia. She's done some charity work. She's made some people who were on their deathbeds feel and look pretty. I've got no ill will against her either on the personal front. On the political front,
we have some differences. Yeah.
Show up to the fucking meeting and we'll see if there's differences at all.
Yeah, we have, but that's the professionals different. I don't agree with what they do politically.
Yeah.
Now, some of the stuff that Sheldon does, that pisses me off. You know what I mean? Like, especially when it directly involves me. But when you're the leader of a city, you're everybody's mayor, not just the people who supported you. And I can't, for the life of me, forgive that.
No.
You know what I mean? Like, you got a city full of suffering people, and the only people that are getting a leg up are the people that supported him, and that's not cool. You can ride right up Saginaw Street, the corner of 5th and what is that? Right where Michigan Works is, and see all them homeless people right there, and that hurts.
I drive by that every weekday, and that crowd's just grown larger. And at first, when I first started taking my kids up that way to school, it was 2, 3 folks. I could stop and give a buck or two if I had it. And then it turns into 20, into 30, 50. Now I can't just give to one person and not to everyone else. Right? Like, how do I know who's the most needy there?
Mm-hmm.
How do I know who needs it the most? Do I pull my truck over and hold a pole? Yeah. Like, these people the city could be helping. These are people that our council has failed, to put it bluntly. Our mayor has failed, to put it bluntly. The county has fucking failed because the county, it seems like, keeps on encroaching in on the city of Flint's autonomy. And whenever the city of Flint does have a decent idea on to go approach something, the county slaps it the fuck down. Like, we aren't supposed to be self-sufficient here. And it kills me. My wife's family's been in this city for 3 or 4 generations now. I owe this city everything. They gave me my wife. They gave me a joy that I never knew I could have. And now I see the city failing itself. I see the county pushing the city to failure. And I see the state holding its head underwater. And I don't know what to do.
It's frustrating because the people who we're supposed to be going to for help, it's like they thumbing their nose at us. You know what I mean? Like it's like it's almost like, and I hate to say, I hate to keep harping on it because I applied for ARPA funds for my nonprofit. I do have a nonprofit organization that I can't manage to get up off the ground. For one, I don't know how to write grants, but for 2, I applied for ARPA money to start my nonprofit to get it up off the ground. I did. I applied for $25,000. I gave an itemized list of what I needed it for. So it wasn't just like I just said, hey, I need 25
Hey, give me
G's.
25K now. I mean,
No, I gave more information that they asked for when I turned in my documentation. So they knew it wasn't a question as to why I'm asking for this amount of money. I asked for $3,000 for this and $5,000 for security or computer equipment and whatever. It was all an itemized list. I got it in my computer. I got a call back saying that I didn't qualify. What which is cool. But then you see months down the line that people that are on the committee that choose the people the groups or the who's going to get that funding, that they got funding or they applied for funding.
mm-hmm.
And
or city council people, there's guaranteed two that have ties to nonprofits that were awarded funds. One of them in a TBD status to slip in later, and those were funds that, I mean, fuck, your Sarvis Park. You look after a park. You pick up trash at a park. You really need 50K at a park. And I don't even know what look, I keep on fucking up her name. I'll disrespect her politically, not personally. Candace, I don't even know what the hell your nonprofit's for. I've never heard about it. But somewhere in there's not just 50K, a couple 100K. And then some of the others that they've given money to have just up and fucking disappeared. Whereas people who live in the city, stay in the city, want to see the city get better, they don't see shit.
it's funny that you say that, and I saw that Mr. Pfeiffer was on last night, and he had that program that was all mapped out. He had everything, but he couldn't get the funding. Sounded real familiar.
Mm-hmm.
He couldn't get the funding to get his program to get the people from Flint. It's like to make them self-sustainable. Like this was a wraparound. This was a revolving. This was something that could have residual results. Like this is a class, y'all come out, whatever.
Like it hits 2 or 3 different problems all at once.
Mm-hmm.
Blighted houses go away. New affordable housing comes up because prices kept down, because renovate and you take good parts from one house that can't stand by itself and you put it into this house that can stand by itself but has very few good parts. And then you're teaching people with a felony. You're teaching kids. Hell, if you wanted to, he could have thrown vets in there and got another tax credit.
Mm-hmm.
And, okay, now I can take care of my house. I can teach my kids. And then at the end of the day, now everyone's got a home. It's a bit cheaper. You don't have to raise your taxes because people actually have a home to live in. Holy shit, instead of pushing people out. Oh my God, I must be a fucking visionary.
People that can be unionized or, however, and they can fix houses. Like they can be, like, where's the wrong in that?
There isn't. All right, so there's a difference between political wrong and wrong. A political wrong is you didn't play ball with me, fuck you.
That's the wrong I get hit with.
That's the wrong you get hit with. Whereas wrong is I'm going to take money, shove it in my back pocket, fuck what I said I was going to do. Look, Don already had money. He didn't need to do that. He came from a place that was just flattened by a fucking hurricane. He moves up here to Flint and it's in worse shape somehow. Mm-hmm. I'd feel some type of way too, wouldn't you?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's fucking crazy to me.
I feel like I need to address Eric Towns. It says her nonprofit is for domestic violence from what he saw. I've got a nonprofit that addresses domestic violence, human trafficking, and all of the above. We live in Flint, Michigan. We've got the highest nonprofit. Probably that too.
Yeah, the highest amount of nonprofits per capita.
The highest rate of human trafficking in the state. You know what I mean? Like, this is Genesee County. That's why Sheriff Swanson's got his ghost program. That's, it's here. We've got a demand. We've got a need. I'm not discrediting her nonprofit, but I'm saying, like, we got enough homeless. We got enough victims. We got enough trafficked people that, there could be more than one.
If I can't trust her. I can't trust anyone that sits on that council. 1 through 9. Mark my words, even if it is Eric Mays, even if it is Tanya Burns. 1 through 9. if you're on that council and you have in one way, shape, or another put in for ARPA funds or way to benefit your nonprofit, I can't fucking trust you. Now, somehow, out of 9, a third have failed that fucking criteria. Now, a 33% fail rate here has got me feeling some sort of way. If she had resigned from her nonprofit the second she knew she was going to be on city council and controlling the purse strings of the city, I'd give her a little bit more respect and I'd give her nonprofit a little bit more credence. But she didn't. No, I'm not going to hear any defense on her until she can prove to us, because this ain't no court. There ain't no due process here. This is public opinion. And 90% of the time, as everyone can tell you, hell, as Clack here can tell you, you're guilty till proven innocent in public opinion.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
So, I gives a fuck.
Yeah. No.
Be specific. Okay, Liddell Lewis in fucking Sarvis Park. Quincy Murphy dicking around with Habitat for Humanity and picking up a 11K lawnmower. Jesus Christ. The thing better have Bluetooth, an ass warmer, and a back massager on it for that price. And then Candace, number 7. There's your 33% fail rate. Sorry about that.
No. You're good. You're good. Let me see. Was I about to address something? Okay. No,
Probably.
No, I'm just going through. While it's on my mind, I feel like, because I sometimes, a lot of people don't know me. Mr. Tony Wiggins, I feel like I owe you an apology, sir, for the way I snapped off on our last show.
Last, but not last.
Yeah, no, I think it was the last. It might have been your rant when I kind of snapped off, but
It worked.
It's not. And this is an apology, like a really sincere one, because I know you just want the answers, but I feel as if I'm giving sufficient answers and I shouldn't have snapped off like that, especially seeing that I make myself available to answer these type of questions.
I think it's like you're both pretty fucking frustrated. So he wants a very specific set of answers.
Mm-hmm.
You can't give him those because you're not the one that's actually in charge of overseeing the shit. So he wants something that you can't give. You feel frustrated because you give him what you can. He feels frustrated because it's not what he wanted, and it's causing that issue.
Understood. I just, at the end of the day, there's a certain way to say things. And, saying it how I said it is not the way to say it. So I do apologize for the way I came off, kind of snapped off last week. That was whenever it was. Yeah. So I think I've pretty much got everything out. And for those of you that are emailing me, not you on here, but those of you that are watching that have been emailing me about what's going on with the young lady in the Flint school that threw the chair, I am not at liberty to give any information.
I got something to bring up about her. So you saw...
She did speak at city council the other day.
Yes. Mm-hmm. And granted, it was a place that had no bearing upon, the schools.
Mm-hmm.
She did choose the place that has the widest and biggest audience to say her public apology.
Mm-hmm.
I think we have to acknowledge that.
I will say that I'm not at liberty to give anything. I can't speak about the outcome or anything that happened with her, but I can say how I felt after hearing her speak and after hearing her story and hearing her situation. Mm-hmm. It's more than just a chair. I will say that. That's what got put out. That's what got, Flint on the map again for something negative, which I did make sure that she understood, that, for all the good work that the district has done, all the the moving forward that we've been doing, that, unbeknownst to her, that she set us all back, a couple of steps, because this was one thing that put Flint on the map. Now, if the rules have been followed or enforced, and I'm not taking a shot at anyone, because we all, as teachers, we all, we hate cell phones in classrooms. Like, that's the biggest deterrent. Like, we hate them, but you can't really necessarily take them because of the way our policy goes.
Your policy's fucked. My teachers used to throw them in a drawer, and you'd listen to them ring and vibrate for like 6 hours till they died. And then they wouldn't give it back to you till the end of the week. And if they took it on Friday, you don't get it back till next Friday.
Well, that's one of the things that we as a board need to address as policy, but we've done that. So, that's not really a board thing. So without taking shots, I'm just going to say, if the phones had been put away, then it would have been on a need-to-know basis, and the entire world would know that this went on in our classroom, in our backyard. You see what I'm saying? Like, I got a call from TMZ. I got a call from news agencies from around the country, not because I'm on here with you, not because I'm on 810 News Media Group, which I wish it was.
That'd be cool.
Yeah, it would be dope. But it was to address the situation that happened with this young lady. And I told them all the same thing.
Can't tell you nothing.
I'm not at liberty.
We're sorry this happened.
Yeah, the superintendent, put out a statement. Well, is this the type of behavior? No, of course it's not. No, we don't condone this behavior in the Flint community schools. No.
How many students you have?
In the district, about right under 2,900.
All right, so out of 2,900 kids, you see one pop up on a viral video on TikTok. Somehow that's representative of Flint. Are you fucking high, TMZ?
And she didn't have any type of criminal, record before. The last time she had anything on her school record was years before. You know what I mean? So, yeah, you got to look at this. And this was a real bad thing that happened. And, she's dealing with her consequences now. But this still is a child that's growing up that's got a future ahead of her. So we still are responsible for making sure that she receives an education, and we can give the best that we can so she can be successful when she gets out. She's only in the 9th grade.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to say what happened. I'm not going to say she did this or she did that. I can only speak on what Michael Clack says, and I felt that this girl needed some help.
I can say on what I saw at City Council. This was a young lady who was still coming to grips with exactly what had happened and the consequences thereof. She was kind of in shock and awe. Like, I did not mean for all of this to happen.
Mm-mm.
I've been in those shoes before, young lady. I promise you.
Mm-hmm.
And it gets better. You have to roll with it for now. Things have happened, and what may come, may come. You just have to grow from it. I promise you, young lady, it gets better. At some point.
All I can say is, she's our future.
Mm-hmm.
Something happened, and please let me address that, because there are people saying that, that the Flint schools didn't do what they could to service her before. Yes, the Flint schools did. Shout out to Mr. Akanicki, because there was
Mr. What now?
The principal of Southwestern.
Okay, but can you say his name for me? Because I was about to screw that up if I have to say it again tonight.
Akanicki.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
There was a safety plan. There was a plan that was put in place for this young lady and another student.
So it was principal. Did he get together with the counselor?
And the behavioral specialist.
And their teachers.
Yeah.
So it was a team thing that they put together, not just slam down Neely style. We're going to do it this way. No, they developed a plan, and shit just fell through.
Well, what happened was, without me saying too much, the plan didn't go because the plan was for another student.
Yeah.
This student got in, the incident was not with that student. Oh, yeah. They had the safety. So if we're taking,
This is teenagers. Of course a third party is going to get involved.
Right,
but
right.
You can't really plan for every third party, right?
Right. So, so the due diligence was done. Now, did it look like it was? Of course it didn't. We saw what we saw. You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, I can only go on what was given to me. The documentation, what was spoken to me, what was said.
I can damn near promise you that people asking you that were asking a loaded question. These are the same folks that want all your chairs and desks bolted to the floor, your students to, when they sharpen their pencil, immediately break off the tips so they can't hurt each other. They want all the students wearing identifiable clothing from a distance. This almost sounds like a prison. Damn, these folks asking you that must have a certain perception of how students in Flint are going to go. Weird.
And that's where I come in, because I don't want to see that. But that's what I told this particular young lady, is that, like, you don't know. I asked her straight up. I said, have you seen me before? And she said, no. And I said, have you ever met me? And she said, no.
That's kind of cool, though.
And, well,
you're not walking around, I'm President Clack.
Oh, no, that's definitely not me. Like,
you see what I mean?
Definitely not me. But what I did say was, you don't know me and I don't know you, but I've been defending you since the day after this incident happened, because what you don't know is that the evil trolls on the internet are having a field day with the names that they're calling you and how they're describing you. And at the end of the day, you're one of our students, and I'm not going to let whatever happened, you ain't no animal.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to let them call you that. You're not a future prison inmate. I'm not going to let them call you that. And some of the other nasty names that I got in my email, I'm not going to let them get away with that. Did she make a mistake? Of course she did. She regretted it.
Yeah.
Especially when she was sitting at that table with a whole bunch of us sitting there looking at her, and she's like...
And you're always dressed up when you go.
So, and this particular day I had a suit on. So she was like...
Who is this really important man looking at me?
There
saying
were three of us,
offended
though.
me?
There were three of us in this, and then there were 6 staff that came from Southwestern, and so there was a lot going on. So the girl she was in her feelings. She admitted it. She admitted what she did. She, she spoke, and then we made our decision, and that was it.
I don't know, man. Because, God, could you imagine if they had TikTok when you and I were in high school?
Man, look,
I'd be a national sensation like 6 times over.
Some of the pranks that me and my buddy pulled, man.
Look, I was that student that would make random noises and sounds when the teacher wasn't ready. I had a teacher have to take a 3-week emergency vacation just to get away from the stress I caused her. Could you imagine if they had TikTok back then? God damn.
One of my buddies, we were watching Old Yeller, that movie that everyone had to watch to graduate, to get through English class and Miss Abrams' class.
Poor dog.
But my buddy took the movie out, replaced it with a
adult content
movie. Man.
Oh, fuck, that's classic. You gotta call him up and
the
give
look
him
on her
again.
face, I still laugh about it to this day. It's not fun. I didn't do it, so but it looked like I did, because this particular day I was late to class, walking my girlfriend to class. So I come knocking on the door. I look up. The teacher looks up and she sees the TV, and the look on her face was like,
"Oh no!"
And I'm like, "What's But if we had TikTok back then,
God, or YouTube,
or Facebook.
Oh man, hell, even dealing with MySpace back in my high school days was enough.
This was even before then. I'm old, man. I'm 43.
Shit.
We were still dealing with dial-up and AOL and.
I remember playing Call of Duty on dial-up. That was
couldn't have been good.
I mean, it could be Xfinity low-tier cable.
But yeah, hopefully, I've addressed a lot of questions or a lot of assumptions. Hopefully that, people are not looking at me as if like, yeah, I am the school board president. And I realize that some things I probably shouldn't say. And again, I'm still learning. I'm not perfect. I'm not trying to be perfect. I'm trying to be honest and transparent. So maybe I'd go a little bit too far with doing that. But at the end of the day,
look, you're not giving people a roam around your house, introducing them to your dogs, right? You're choosing what to let them in on, our audience here. The same thing I do. I mean, no one knows the name of my dogs. You'd have to do some digging to find the name of my kids or the name of my wife on these shows. I let folks see what I want them to see. You let them see what you want them to see.
Mm-hmm.
And instead of people taking that as we're letting you into our lives. You've got some bad actors out there trying to make a big deal over nothing. Shit. Target shooting in this country has been a sport, and it's now a fucking Olympic sport of all damn things.
It is. They got it. You can go to college for. I think you can get a scholarship for that too.
I think they just cut funding for marksmanship and archery at the federal level. However, yeah, you used to be able to get a scholarship for it. You used to be able to go to college for it. You used to go to the Olympics.
You can get a Canusa for it.
There's national shooting level competitions where some people make millions of dollars over their life. It is a sport, and people are sitting there detracting from you because you let them into that part of your life. Like, shooting's fun, dude. You're holding a fucking control explosion in your hand.
Mm-hmm. Or from their
It's like magic.
point of view, this is a weapon of mass destruction, and you can go out here and potentially.
God.
I understand that's
Look,
that end of the spectrum.
If they're gonna bitch about an AR or a Hellion being a weapon of mass destruction, then they should start talking about Eva and her gullet of mass consumption. Okay, I'm done with it.
I ain't doing that. But
I am.
Yeah, but you know,
I am the asshole, and I'm fine being the asshole. I've got respectable friends for some reason.
I just, you know, I will say, do I agree with her politics? No, but I'm not gonna go out and call anybody names. Do I agree with 50% of city council's politics?
Probably not.
No.
I mean,
But
you
I don't
probably
have
don't
to.
agree with 50% of each of them individually either.
Right, but again, I don't want to just be, I'm not gonna be I'm an elected official too, so I don't really care. I can take it, but I'm just not gonna be that dude. I've got plenty of friends that don't mind, holding people accountable and calling names. So you guys got it.
I got it. I have too much fun with it. You know how long I've been waiting to use that line about Eva? That's been like 16 hours.
Oh, see, yeah, no, but I will say, honestly, I don't agree with their politics. That's just me. I don't have nothing personal against them, but.
I mean, so we've got stuff coming up though.
Mm-hmm.
Halloween.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to be in a bad mood for Halloween for several reasons. Pops died a year ago, Halloween.
Sorry.
My happy ass is going to be down in Ann Arbor at the VA. I got to drive my mother-in-law around. However, I hope you guys have a fun one. I hope you take your kid out and you guys go get all the candy and then you make them run it off
for Halloween.
Oh,
I'm being Frozone for Halloween. I said I was going to do it last year, but this year the suit is ordered. When I get back from Virginia, it'll be here. So.
Okay. And you're going to make your son run off all of this candy, right?
No, we're going to eat all this candy together.
And then you're going to run it off?
Yeah.
Okay. That's cool. Following that, we've got Veterans Day coming up, which I'm going to talk with Mickey, see if we can have a little thing. And then 8/10 is going to be gearing up.
Art should be on for Veterans Day.
Yeah. Art and God, I can't think of any well-known vets off the top of my head other than
George,
Art.
what's his name? Not what's his name. I'm sorry, George. George Grundy. I'm sorry. Do not fault me, George.
Mr. Grundy?
Yeah, he's a vet too. He's a Marine.
I've heard his name come up. God, you're going to throw 2 soldiers and a Marine in a room. That's going to be fun.
Look, there's something about, and I will just say this because Trevor took an exclusive disliking to that metal detector. There's something about veterans, when you start messing with their rights, they take it to a whole nother level. Like,
when was the last time you shaved your face?
Last week.
I mean, all of it?
Yeah, last week.
Okay.
Mine don't grow too much, so I just don't like the stubble over here. So I just.
Okay. When was the last time you went 3 weeks without a haircut?
I don't know.
So imagine you miss shaving 1 day. You miss 1 week without a haircut. You have someone feeling high and mighty because they have an extra different little patch on their chest climbing up your ass. So now that I'm out and I don't have that, and I've got all this room in the world to spread my arms, like, oh, okay, that's a law, but I'm not touching that. And that's a law.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. When I used to be in a little box like this. And now they're trying to tell me, no, we're putting you back in that box. damn right I'm going to walk through that metal detector. Damn right I'm going to cause some issues. And most other vets are the exact same way. Try telling Art what to do. Try telling Art he can't do something.
I'm not doing that.
Because you're going to have a lot more pushback than it is worth in the first place.
Yeah.
And I'm a Marine. God, Marines are a cult. They're in a smaller box than I was in. Try putting him back in there. I'm willing to bet this Mr. Grundy guy, from what I've heard about him now that, you said his entire name, I'm sitting here going, yeah, I don't want to do that to that man.
I've known George. I went to school with his sister from first grade all the way to 12th grade. So I've been known George, for a long time, like a long time. So like he would be a great person for you to meet. You guys can talk war stories and you guys could tell your Army versus Marine jokes and
oh God.
But yeah.
Oh no. All right, Mickey, take a note. That one's gonna have to be R-rated at very least. I'm pulling out the dirty jokes on that Marine.
That might be something they got to pay to see, because I'd be damned
if they cancel.
Get out there like that. This the Disney Network.
After the show, Patreon only. Would you guys be interested in Patreon only content? Because just having a few vets up here just trading insults back and forth could be absolutely hilarious. Or different parts of Flint sitting up here talking shit about each other, as long as it keeps to the funny. I think we could have a lot of fun with those sort of shows.
Right. We got me. We over?
We're over.
Yeah, we over.
Hey, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning in with us today. Thank you for putting up with my late ass. Clack was here on time. Mickey was here on time. The Snowbilly couldn't figure out how to drive on dry roads, all right?
So, yeah. Thank y'all for watching. Hopefully that answers some of the questions that are out. Maybe it made it worse. I don't know. Don't really. At this point, it is what it is. Y'all can go up and down my Facebook, Instagram, whatever. And if you want to find out more about me, I post most about my kids, but I post pretty much what I got going on. So, support 810 News Media Group, Mickey, Winters, Gina, Sister Audrey, Councilwoman Burns.
Yes, Ashley.
Can't forget about Ashley Richmond. Did I say Mickey already?
Yeah.
Even if you did, he deserves another one.
Yeah.
Amount of shit he puts
Shout out to Mickey. And if you are feeling gracious enough that you would like to give to the Cash App, Mickey, could you put that up there? Is it pinned already?
Yeah, I'm finna put it in there. And we tell them again they gotta hit right versus wrong.
Oh yeah. Make sure that you guys donate to Right versus Wrong, because if you want, they are doing a lot of work. For us, as far as the city goes.
Like the old way that this went, we had to wait for them to slip up and tell us without meaning to tell us. Right versus wrong is their paperwork. I mean, it's like at Art Woodson B2, because Art's got all of his receipts. This person's gone and digging in other people's receipts. I like it.
And it's not just here in Flint. They're all around the country doing this. They're not. I don't know who it is, but there's got to be a group of them. You know what I mean? And they gotta. They're smart people.
Use a lot of travel.
but yeah, they just. All I can say is, if you doing anything nefarious or wrong, better watch out.
Especially from the government. Stop taking my taxes.
Yeah, you better try to straighten up or get yourself together, because people are looking and people are fed up.
Yeah. All right.
Again, if you want to get the real news, 810.
We're here. And you can always reach out and tell us the real news. I mean, we're crowdsourced, guys. We don't have a news van yet. Mickey, could you put that on the list?
The news van. Wow.
Yeah.
For sure. All right, then, fellas. Once again, go donate to Right versus Wrong. Help them. Help us like they help. Help them like they helped us, y'all. And peace.